Hello, everybody. I'm O'Harry T. with A1A Productions. I'd like to thank you for being here with us. A very, very special broadcast. I'd like to ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm here with a very, very, very special guest today, Darrell McIntyre. How you doing, Darrell?
I'm doing good, Harry.
We're here for a very special purpose, and this is a kind of a formation show, an announcement show for something that you're doing that's very special. Could you kind of give me an idea of what we're doing here today?
Yeah, Harry, that's exciting too. I'm wanting to document stories about the Mobile musical scene, the history, not just of musicians, but people that support it and that create the foundation for people to thrive and survive.
Thrive and survive with music, which is the cool, smooths, or it keeps the savage beast down within us, right?
That's right. You got to have that food for your mind, body, and soul.
Music has been something here on the Gulf Coast, hasn't it, sir?
It sure has, and it's. I think we're underrated a little bit for what we do here in this area.
What do you mean by underrated? Do you think it's just the area? They don't think you were mentioning something a moment ago. You were in Scotland, and they just didn't kind of take you seriously because of your accent.
That's right. But I've been to several places all over the world, and I'm used to that. You know, who you are, you just go and be yourself. But yeah, what I'm seeing here is that there's stories. There's a lot of interesting stories that basically they're never going to get told if we don't somehow document them.
So you're going to tell this story. How are you going to tell the story? What medium are you going to use?
Well, the medium we're going to use is going to be a various variety of things. We're going to do interviews, in-person interviews. Mm-hmm. We're going to do audio recordings, mm-hmm. Which will eventually transpire into an audio book.
Oh, an audio book.
And then the audio book will be the basis for a 6x9 printed copy and then a more formal hard copy version that I see.
You talking about like a coffee table book or that type of thing with the large print and large pictures, or?
Exactly. I mean,
really?
I think that the hard copy is going to be what I want, and it's what everybody would want. But if you just want to pick up one at half cost, you can pick up a 6x9 and read it.
So where are you now in this process, if you don't mind me asking? I've been a musician myself for a little while around the Mobile area. Spent some time in the Keys, which didn't ruin me, by the way. But you've also spent some time around the world, and what is the purpose of this?
Well, the purpose is it's not about me. This is about putting together basically a group of people that can shepherd this and create, not to steal Nick Saban's thunder, but the man created a process for being a champion and success. And that's not just for sports, it transfers into business as well. So the idea is to create a framework, a structure that everybody gets asked the same questions, everybody gets the same opportunity. And ultimately that comes into each person getting their footprint, and I'd like to call it fingerprint.
Fingerprint.
There's a unique fingerprint.
Oh, yes. Well, how was this process, how was this project born?
How was it born? Well, I've thought about it a lot, but I think the genesis of it was, I took saxophone lessons from my good old friend Joe Lewis about 20 years ago. It wasn't his fault, but anyway, I played a little bit, but we were talking a couple of years ago. I called to check in with Joe and see how he's doing. He was going through some struggles in life, and he just said, "Hey, Darrell, we're dying off." And that resonated with me.
Interesting.
We're dying off.
Yeah. Joe Lewis and those great classic musicians from what was they called? The Chitlin circuit. Was that what it was?
I'm not sure. Joe could speak to it, and he's ready to, but I'll tell you, I think he's been in the big brass scene. He's been in the whole Mobile jazz scene for a long while.
Yes, he has. Well, explain a little more about it's your vision. It's been your idea. What What do you have in mind for this concept?
Well, actually, you mean in totality. There's a few things that I'd like to just state that, I'm trying to save stories before they disappear. That is one of the key things I'm trying to accomplish. Next, the Gulf Coast has such a rich musical history that it deserves to be preserved. It's currently not. And then for every famous musician in this town or household name, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people who stood on the stage, beside the stage,
Yeah.
work sound, and everybody's got a different perspective. And then there's different genres that I want to bring everyone together. So ultimately, it's something that, there's going to one day be a grandchild that says, hey,
Yeah.
how was my granddad when he played music? And I want there to be an answer.
Wow, this is so unique, Darrell. I'm with Darrell McIntyre, who is a very, very well known, and you still play professionally. Is that right,
That's
Darrell?
correct.
This concept that you have here, the overall concept of this book or volume, what would you say that would be?
Well, the concept, again, is just to capture people's stories, ask them, then people are going to have a chance to expand on. Maybe speaking to one of the questions will be, what story can you tell us about another musician that you played with?
That's the people part of this
That's
thing.
right. And that's what, you got people like, you got John Anthony,
Wet Willie.
great Wet Willie guy, and all the rest of the crew, good friend of mine and a better individual. You got people like Tim Lovelace in the gospel world.
Wow.
Extraordinaire, doing great things with his career. You've got Jerry Powell, who's, a wonderful man and musician and entertainer, even better. And then he's a great, he had a studio in town that we used for years. So blues guys, Robbie Fleming, Britt Meacham.
Oh, wow.
These cats have stories to
They
tell.
have played or played with some of the royalty.
That's exactly right.
Rick Chansey, for instance,
Exactly.
from our area out in Saraland, Satsuma, and 8 Mile, Whistler.
Ricky and I played together in a band probably 1982 in Donnie Skidmore.
Skidmore
has passed away. Yeah. So you see, I want to bring in people that have passed.
Yeah.
Mike Rat Connell.
Oh, great drummer.
Yeah.
Roy Thomas had a band. I don't remember exactly.
Sure did.
Rat played with him.
Harmonica player. He passed on too.
Yeah. Interesting. If we don't do this soon,
we're all standing in the checkout line. We just can't see the cashier.
So that's the people part of this thing.
That's
the
right? Impetus for it. Yes.
So you're going to really bring in the people and have them tell their stories and really share some of the experiences.
That's what I want to do,
brother. Some of them experiences, that's kind of. I played for mud wrestling and strip joints and things like that over the years. Those things are kind of some of it's kind of adult.
It is, that's been brought up that some of it's R-rated. But I just tell people this: if you're going into this thing and you're going to be on a coffee table for generations to come, think of how you want your legacy to be.
That is so true. That is so true.
You're not going to be around to joke about it later. It's going to be how you want to be portrayed.
Well, you mentioned Nick Saban, and I'm a Bama fan too. But I did a radio show as an Auburn commentator. I changed my name to Billy Ray Flynn, most Auburn puke name I could find.
Okay.
But anyway, still as an Alabama fan, we knew that, like you said, Nick Saban had a process.
Absolutely.
So what is your vision of this process, and how do you envision the experience for each one of the participants?
Well, after he came to Alabama, I read his book, and I'm probably one of the most rabid fans, been to more natties and games in person. But Nick, he came up with he set a standard first, and this standard is it's the way of doing things. So it's procedures, essentially. Well, in my line of work, in electrical and instrumentation, I've been documenting procedures and collecting data, and so that gives me the qualifications to categorize this stuff. But the idea is Nick created a process that he was just rinse and repeat every year.
Yeah.
So let's say we start this out, and we have a committee that's helping us do this. If people begin to die off, somebody else just picks up the baton and carries it forward.
Cool.
This could go into perpetuity. I can see it that way.
So this thing has no end, possibly?
Yes, that's what
Volume after volume.
That's right.
Oh, how wonderful.
You'll never capture what we have here in a volume. It'll be like encyclopedias.
Yeah.
There's not just one volume.
So everybody's welcome, no matter what kind of music you might have played or been involved with. By the way, a lot of them may not have played music. They may have been in the recording industry.
That's absolutely true.
Or the publishing industry. The music industry is a big, wide world.
That's right.
Are you going to open it to that entire world?
That's my vision, is that the more color you bring into it, the more intriguing. If you make this a blues book, only people that like blues will buy it.
Right.
If you make it a gospel book, they'll be the ones that.
Right.
So by bringing in people with different perspectives, hey, I was a guitar tech at MMI Music for years.
They would have met.
And I sold guitars to these people, and I got this story about that guy.
Yeah.
You see, so I see it from DJs. I see it from many different, groups or people inside the industry, sound engineers, people that actually were just hauling equipment for people.
Roadies?
Roadies, man.
Yeah.
We got some roadies around.
How about road girls?
Well, I've thought about the fan thing, because the music don't go without the fans,
That's
right?
true.
So there should be a way to have people that say, hey, you know what? I followed Wet Willie from the day. I'm still going to see live music. Well, see, I want to hear from that person that's still doing that today.
The top fan of the Gulf Coast of Alabama would be somebody that would be, I would imagine they would have stories that some of the musicians couldn't even imagine.
Exactly.
Well, we are trying to do this also. We're trying here in our studio. Here it's A1A Studio in Mobile now. It was in the Keys, but we're trying to bring this to a video as well. Not necessarily as a video book, but the part that we want to do is capture what these individuals look like, right? What they sound like, and capture their stories as we're going along. It may not be specifically word to word like the book, but we want to capture in perpetuity for everything that we can find in music in the Gulf Coast of Alabama. Is that right?
That's right, because I listened to my first audiobook about a year ago. But I was mesmerized. So I see this as being simply the emotion. In the written word, you have to do your best to convey the emotion.
Right.
But with the recorded audio of these people, especially, we want to catch everyone before they die, right?
Right.
And that's going to be something that generations to come can listen to. Hey, I want to hear what my dad had to say, or my brother.
So let's talk about the business side of it, if you don't mind just a second.
Sure.
That may be something we hadn't planned on talking about, but there is a business side to it, because you want to make sure you can fund this project, because you've got editors and producers, and you got to print a book. It's expensive to print a book of the type that you're talking about. Are we going to play and have fundraisers? Are we going to do a GoFundMe page, or what? How do you envision that there?
Well, those are good ideas. Right now, it's still in the exploration phase, because the more you just sit there and think about this, it's like Pandora's box, or liken it to an onion. You peel off one layer and there's another one. So I see it from talking to publishers about it. I see that we're going to have to try to keep a volume to 250 to 400 pages, and that's the only thing that's marketable. So when you ask about the business side, there's a thing that we're probably looking at for people that want the coffee table version. Well, that's going to be something that's, order to receive. So you order it, you may get it 6 weeks later. That way we don't have to collect a bunch of inventory and sell books. Yeah. But I see providing these materials, the hard copy, the 6x9, or the audio book, for musicians that participate, right?
Right.
So that they can get the book at cost, essentially.
I see.
And then turn around and take them to their gigs and have them for merch.
So if the book sells for $40 or $50, which a hard
$49. Publishers are telling me $49.95 is the target price, and $29 for a 6x9. So your profit margin on that's 100%. So $50 book, your cost is $25.
Gotcha.
So a musician could get that book for, so let's say $28, $29.
See, you're being very transparent, and that's how this works. And the profit, have you had an idea of how the profit's going to be distributed?
Well, as far as distribution, so far I've been told that, you're not going to be able to distribute a percentage, let's just say, of amongst 500, or even it starts to get very convoluted. And how do you pay that royalty? So this is going to be more like every person that participates is going to get a hard print of the nice copy.
Yes.
Now, they can then, like I said, use that tool, sign their chapter, you see, have it on gigs, and market it. And
that's an idea. We talked about that with CDs. They're out of style. CDs are, but the fact of the matter is, you can sign a CD and sell them at gigs. So this is something that you could sign your section if you're the musician.
That's what I see.
And sell this at a gig.
And you could sell it. I mean, as long as you're performing, I would assume you could take it to your gig and sell as many as you could sell.
Merchandise is some of the best ways to make money at music these days, I'm seeing.
Right.
Well, I think it's time now to do something that we would like to try and reach out to as many musicians as we can reach with this type of venue here, with this medium, to be able to make a call for them to contact you. Is that right?
That's correct. And what I envision is setting up a page, which we're working on now, where that, I can be contacted through that, either a Facebook page or a website. So at a minimum, let's put it this way, rather than try to solve the profit loss version, because right now the way it looks is it's all lost right now.
Well, of course
it's a lot of investment, but I've been told that if this thing takes traction, and I'm going to hope that it does, and we're going to see that it does, we may be eligible for grants from the state that would, and at that point I've been advised legally to turn it into a nonprofit. That's what. So then,
the fact of the matter, the starting of this thing is so pivotal, because it's like chicken or egg, and funding something like this out of your own pocket. I mean, you and I both are not wealthy men, but at some point this needs to be funded so that it perpetuates itself when we're gone. Right?
I think so, and I think if the process, again, I'm going to quote Nick, but if the process is correct, there should be no room for deviation. I mean, everyone that submits, and let's just say, haven't been able to firm up the criteria yet and the filter for this, but some of it's common sense. Someone like Joe Lewis is 90 years old. I mean, he's got the street cred and he's still playing, so he's gonna get first dibs into the book. But that doesn't mean that someone else that's only been playing half the time's not going to get in that edition as well. So I think it just comes down to making sure you're taking some people from this genre, that one, and making the whole thing not just be a documentation about, well, I'm a musician and I played and this is my story, but a more colorful version by blending all genres, different stories from different people. That's kind of what I'm seeing.
Well, you've got a name for this whole thing, and it's right there behind you on the screen.
Yeah, like that.
If you would just a moment point back there and tell everybody what the name of this is.
Well, this is the Alabama Music Heritage Archive, and we're going to talk about this being the Gulf Coast edition. So
awesome.
It'll actually be the Gulf Coast volume, but it'll be the volume 1. Now, just to be clear, when you ask about how submissions and all that works, I've been advised by publishers that you're probably only going to be able to limit about 25 people per volume.
Wow.
Yeah. So you start thinking, well, we could have 5,000 people that get in line for this thing. Again, everyone has to answer the questionnaire that then becomes the criterion that the committee determines.
Committee.
So it's not Darrell.
It's not Darrell and it's not Harry. So don't look at us now. But to start out, you would need to contact. You can do that at one of my Facebook pages, A1A Productions, Radio A1A, Harry T. Or Darrell, you've got a Facebook page as well. They can message you
get me
there.
on Facebook for now. That's correct.
Darrell McIntyre, and the start of it is that the whole thing has so many working parts.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to do all this, Darrell?
Well, you know what? It's like Bear Bryant did. He surrounded himself by people better than him to get it done. So I know how to collect the data, and I know how to arrange it so that everything is in order. So, for example, someone may have old photos, but they don't have them scanned, so they can bring them to the interview. We'll scan them and give them back. We're not keeping anything. No. You take your stuff home, but again, some of it'd be easier by email submission. So I envision, I've been told to get off of neutral and get it in gear by try to get these first 25 people and collect that data.
Well, now we're in the closing part of this video, and there will be other videos as well. Have you got anything else that you want to say or reach out to anybody about this amazing process?
I just want to say how excited I am to actually get traction and get this thing going. And, you know, we're going to tackle the logistics of it as it unfolds, but it's very new. And so, but there's work being done on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Well, it is work, even though you and I both, we love us some music.
That's right.
And we've been involved in music for a long time. And you can play notes and they go out into the air, or you can get involved with this possibly, and this may sit there available for people to learn about the things that you made happen in the music world in this part of the world, in South Alabama.
And this is a voluntary thing. I want to mention that because we hope that people will want to be involved in it, but, you know, we can't. Musicians, I think it's no secret. There's a lot of ego with musicians, and that everybody has to check that at the door to be a part of this legacy document. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. Well, you know something? That's been Darrell McIntyre right there. And this has been the Alabama Music Heritage Archive kickoff video here on A1A Productions in the studios in Mobile, Alabama. I hope you'll join us for our next production. And contact Darrell or myself, and let's get this thing rolling. You ready to roll, Darrell?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll see you next time.